Hello, if you don't know me, my name is Eric Senechal. I'm a Pulsar practitioner here for Rejuvenate. Now the big question is, are electric cars bad for us? If you don't know, stay with us. So hello, as I was just saying earlier, are electric cars bad for us? Now we're seeing a whole bunch of different things online, and today what I'm going to do, I know there's a lot of people testing with meters and stuff like that. We're going to go just on the common sense way of seeing this perspective. Now, it's not to bash on electric cars, it's not to bash on anything, I just want to show you a different perspective, and this is all just to make people reflect on this. So before we actually touch this, let's touch on electromagnetic field, but in different ways that you've seen yourself. So, you ever seen those big, huge power lines that we have sometimes? Usually it's not in the city, it's going to be outside the city. Those are the main lines going from city to city. They always attach on big pieces of metal braces to attach them, and they're not just in a one single post. Those big power lines have somewhat around, depending where and all that, but in the average of 720,000 volts going through those power lines. It is insane how much electricity goes into those power lines. Now, I'm sure you've seen some of those before. Did you ever wonder, and I know I did when I was a kid, but why are those the line itself, the cable, why they are so far apart and not close like we see like around the city? And the reason is they're keeping so far apart is because the electromagnetic field that is around the cable itself. So the electromagnetic field is so big that if the cable would be closer without even touching, if they would be closer, there could be some sparks in between them just with the electromagnetic field. That's how much power that is going through those lines. So it's not necessarily the line touching, it's just literally the electromagnetic field. And you probably noticed too that when you pass underneath those power lines, you can hear a humming. You're gonna be like, you'll hear that humming. So that hum is literally the electromagnetic field that is around those power cable. Now, keep that in mind, that little story that I just said. Another direction we're gonna touch before touching with the cars. We know cell phones are not good for us, right? We know computers are not good for us, and TVs and all those, but we just don't really know why or etc. Now, if we take the cell phone for an example, there's a lot of electromagnetic field coming out of a cell phone. And I don't know if you ever noticed that, the little booklet that comes with the cell phone when you buy them, it tells you not to use a cell phone more than 30 minutes a day. It's considered excessive use if you do. I don't know for you, but for me, I use my cell phone way more than 30 minutes a day because there's so many stuff we can do with them, right? They also say in that little booklet to keep that cell phone about 3 centimeters away from your body at all time. So that's about half an inch for you people in the US with your standard system. So what do we do with the cell phone? We actually put it on our ears when we talk, right? Like some people actually put it on speakerphone and speak it away from their head and their body. So that's actually a really good practice to do. But the reason that they're saying those things is because the cell phone itself produces a lot of electromagnetic field and it's really bad for you. And you probably noticed that, just for an example, as a proof that if you talk on a cell phone for quite a long time, your ears get really, really hot. And that's because of the microwave that is coming out of that cell phone is basically, I don't want to say cooking your ear, but at very, very low power, but it's still enough to warm up your ear. And well, what's on the other side of your ear? It's your brain. So that's not really good to zap your brain like that, right? So if we go more extreme, don't ever do that, please. Putting your head in the microwave and press start, I mean, this is the worst thing you can literally do because you're literally microwaving your head. So the cell phone, I'm not saying it's that bad, but it's a similar situation at a very low wattage. But with progressive, with time, it ends up with issues. Now you understand why cell phones are bad for you. It's because of electromagnetic field. So if we think about that as our body itself, how does it affect us? So we have our aura, so we got the energy that is around us, and the aura is attached to our main chakras, and our main chakras are attached to our principal organs, or some of the organs in our body. So if our main aura is being damaged by electromagnetic field, that's mean our aura or our chakras cannot work properly. If our chakras cannot work properly, then the organ attached to that chakra is going to start to have some issues, because it's all connected, it all works together, right? So as an example, as your heart chakra, if your aura starts to have an issue, and then your heart chakra starts to slow down, it's the spin of the vortex itself, then you can start producing, or not producing, where you're going to start to have some issues physically with your heart, which can in long term have long-term issues, heart disease, etc., heart attacks and all that. So if we try to use that same principle as a physical point, so everybody probably went to see a massage once in their life. So we'll say somebody does a lot of curls and does a lot of heavy weight, and go see a massage because their biceps hurts, because they're doing too much curls and there's some knots in the muscles and they're having some issues. Well, yes, that is one problem that could be an issue. It could also be that your muscle in your shoulders are too tight. So if the muscles in your shoulders are too tight, they can be actually pulling on the biceps. So that's when your bicep is being stretched more than it should be, because of that muscle here being too tight. So it's pulling on your biceps, and you start having some pain. So it's not necessarily the biceps that's the issue. In this case, it's your shoulder that's the issue that needs to be worked on, so it can release the tension, so the bicep is not being stretched out like an elastic anymore and come back to its regular size, and now you don't have pain here anymore. So that's the physical part of what I just explained, but in the energy side. So it's the same principle, but one is physical with the body and the other one's the energy, but it's the same thing when it comes to energy. So what does this all come with electric cars and what we were talking about? So with the electric cars, when it comes to charging your electric car, so you're going to have a charging station at home, and those charging station, depending on cars and companies, etc., in average, those machine takes 50 amps out of your electricity of the house and goes into the car. That's why the cable is so big, because there's a lot of amperage going in there. It takes 1.5 or 0.5 amps to kill a person, and there's 50 amps going to that car. It's quite powerful. Now, so that's a quarter of the electricity going from your home to just the car, not feeding the rest of the house. Because usually houses, in average, the amperage going through the fuse box is 200 amps. So 50 amps is a quarter of it. So yeah, it takes a lot of juice. Now, if we think about that, the batteries of the car usually aren't in the floor of the car or in the back of the car where the gas tank would be in a regular car. So the floor will be mostly batteries, and then you'll have the motor that goes through the wheels. So those motors can take from 20 to 30,000 watts of power from the batteries to feed those electric motors to get the car moving. That's a lot of juice. Remember the power line earlier? I was saying 720,000 volts. Now we're talking about 20 to 30,000 watts. Not the same thing, but it's still very, very powerful. Now, if it's 20 to 30,000 watts, this means that the power cable will be feeding 400 to 600 amps going from the battery to the engine, the electric motor. 400 to 600 amp. This is a lot of power. So if those big power lines, we can hear the humming, we know there's a lot of electromagnetic field, and we cannot bring the cable close because there's going to be some sparks. That's how intense the electromagnetic field is. In those cars, yes, I will admit they do have shield. It is protected to a certain point, but not as much as you think. I don't have a meter, like I said, and I know there's some videos on YouTube. You can check out people testing the EMF out of those electric cars, and the science is there. You can check it out. I'm just talking in the common sense perspective. So this means those batteries on the back of the car, they're having all that electricity, all that amperage going on there, so there's definitely a lot of EMF coming out of that. Now, what do you put in the back of your car? Your kids. So you're putting your kids in the worst spot of your car basically that has the most EMF. So that's not good for your health. If it's a full floor of the car wall, you're subjected to it too. Either or, front or back, you will have a lot of EMF, but the back will be worse most of the time. Now, what is that all has to do with it? Like I said, I don't want to bash on electric cars. I am a car mechanic background, so I appreciate cars. I see the technology and I know what they're trying to accomplish and all that. If you love a car, good. I'm happy for you. Keep doing what you're doing. What I'm talking about is mostly on you personally, how much it can affect you. So now you're probably asking yourself, what are those little things here in front of me? So those are called pulsars. Pulsars are made to reverse the effect of EMF on the human body. So I have different types here. That's not all of them. That's just a few of them. But having those EMF affect your body, like I was telling you with your aura, chakra, and your organ, that's what we're going to be repairing your energy field. So after that, your body's capable of healing itself on its own. So we have different type of pulse. Like I said, we have the angels here, which are those are level 1 pulsars. They work right up to your bones. Very, very powerful pulsar. They'll take all the biggest knots of energy in your body. We got the galacticals, we got some ultimas, different series of ultimas, the infracards, and the 5 elements. If you want to have some information about those, what they are, the difference, and what they do for your health, click on the banner here. You can see there's 3 different videos that I've done, level 1, 2, and 3, explaining them in detail. Much information there, you can check it out. But basically what it does is, when we are capable of fixing your personal energy field, that helps your chakras, and we're going to be able to repair those chakras to run like they're supposed to, bring their vortex to the positive or negative direction like they're supposed to. So after that, your body is capable of healing itself. It does not cure anything. It helps your body to be able to heal itself. And we've seen some amazing results with different people with different health issues. So we want to prevent issues and not wait until there's an actual big problem and then start to fix it. We can do that, it's just a lot more work. So if you want more information about my practice, you can go underneath in the comments section. There's a lot of information there to contact me. I also do a lot of pulsar session long distance also. If you don't live in the mountain area, that is okay. I help people all over the US. I got some in the Europe. I got everywhere in Canada. So I have a lot of people from all over the world, and we do long distance sessions. So there's a technique, special technique to do, and there's stuff to be done on your side and my side. If you want to have more information, click on the banner here, and so you know a little bit more how that would work. But yeah, I help a lot of people from all over the world, and it is my pleasure to help them because the results that they're getting, there's nothing that warms my heart more than seeing people having amazing health results. It's a great feeling. So my question of the day is, do you have any stories for electric cars? Do you know people that have purchased them and swapped them for something else? They got back to a regular car, not a electric car, which a little sideline here, I know a lot of people bought them to be more green, but if you do your research, you will notice that to build those electric cars, it is not green whatsoever. The mining to do those batteries, the boats goes overseas 3 times to make those cars. It is because we mine it here, they send it over there, they build the batteries, they bring it back here to finish the battery itself and send it back where the cars are being built, and then they bring back the car here so we can buy them. So the amount of fuel that is being used by those boats to go overseas 3-4 times, the machinery to mine the earth to get all that lithium and all that stuff to create those batteries, I'm sorry, but this is not green at all. But anyways, I don't want to start an argument with that side. But if you do have some stories that people have sold them because they were starting to feel ill after using them, they didn't like it for some reason, put in the comments section. Because I'm personally I have allergies towards EMF, electromagnetic fields. So if somebody else that would have some issues, it would be kind of nice to see what kind of issues they would have just to get the story rolling. So thank you very much to stay until the end. I really appreciate that. I want you guys to have a wonderful day, and don't forget, help your body heal itself. Have a great day. Bye-bye.